Hi, welcome to MediatorPodcast.com, a podcast and video series about mediation, negotiation, and collaboration. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online valuation, divorce, and mediation services based out of St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we will discuss independent legal advice and divorce mediation with Lauren Hunt. Lauren is an attorney mediator in New York who focuses on family issues, including divorce, custody, child support, and adoption. Mediators can be attorneys, they can be mental health professionals, they can be financial professionals, they can be a whole bunch of different types of person. They could be attorneys that aren't practicing anymore, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of it, where we normally will see somebody kind of enter as an attorney in some capacity would be for the filing,
Correct.
and you brought up a really good point is that, divorce is state specific. And so whatever happens in Missouri is going to be different than happens in Illinois, that happens in New York, that happens in, Georgia, and all of these places. And mediation, though, can kind of run across country lines, county lines,
Correct.
state lines, things like that, because those people are really trying to work on the ins and outs of your situation. I think you have to understand, though, like in Missouri, we have some interesting laws. In Illinois, it's maintenance or alimony is automatically calculated. Child support is automatically, there's a calculator. Not all states have a calculator.
Correct. New York, we have calculators, thank God, because
Yeah.
it was, but we've always had a child support calculator. I mean,
Yes.
since like the 80s, but we only recently implemented a maintenance calculator. I want to say it was like 2015.
Yeah.
Before that, it was like the wild, wild west as to what maintenance was going to be.
Welcome to Missouri. We're still the Wild West.
It's hard. It's so hard.
Mhm.
Because, you can't, people want to know, well, what am I kind of looking at? Either what am I possibly looking at paying or what am I possibly looking at receiving? And you're sitting there like, it's what you can agree to. And it's a really, having a calculator, I talk about black holes with divorce all the time, right? Because it's scary. You don't know what's inside of it. Having a calculator eliminates so much of that. So I'm sorry. Oh, that's so hard.
It is. And it's hard because even when you don't have the calculator, and when we're talking about a calculator, we're basically saying the state has determined that there's a consistent way that we're going to calculate alimony. Child support has always had a consistent method for most states, I believe. Yeah, I believe.
Yes.
But the maintenance or alimony is kind of the Wild West. And so in Missouri, it's important to understand the judges. It's important to understand the system, like what has consistently happened, what would never be allowed to happen, kind of things. But then it comes down to the judge's mood on that day and how you show up. And that's hard to take because it really is a gamble. And that's, you might want to gamble, you might have an issue that you cannot solve. We had a wife that wanted $25,000 of maintenance, and the income, the family, the reality could only afford maybe $8,000, right? And all of us are like, oh, I would be happy with $8,000. Those types of things, but we don't know what the judge is going to say. I like to tell people the judge doesn't make probably $8,000, maybe, but you have to put it in perspective that judges are people and they're still going through this process of trying to make something that's reasonable, not necessarily fair, but reasonable. And, but this does lead me to kind of another question, unless you have something to, okay.
I was just going to say that I fully agree with you in terms of the uncertainty of litigation, because it's all dependent on the judge, right? And my favorite saying is judges be crazy sometimes. They can be. And, hopefully no judges that I practice in front of are watching this right now. But you just don't know, because it can be dependent on their mood that day. I've gone before the same judge with similar facts in two different cases, and I'll get different results. And, I think any attorney worth their salt that has practiced for any period of time uh, feels like, when we have to take a case to trial, we try our best to try and settle them because that's when you have all of the control, right?
Mhm.
Because you still have a hand over the settlement. If a
Mhm.
case has to go to trial, it's just you're giving up all control. You could put in the
Mhm.
perfect proof, the perfect proof,
Mhm.
and you get back a result that you just cannot anticipate. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah. And they say that the majority of cases are settled outside of course on the courtroom steps.
oh,
And that's because everybody gets to the point of like, wait, do I really want to gamble on this?
right,
Maybe I don't. And can we just figure it out? Now, at that time, what people don't understand is everybody's already been paid, like everybody's prepped for trial,
yeah,
everybody's ready to go, and you've wasted that time and effort.
thousands.
And I mean, sometimes it could be like tens of thousands, 50,
Oh yeah.
100,000, and I think people should have a choice to do any path that they choose. But I think part of it is what is the ramifications of that? And you have to understand that the judge seizes these cases every single day. So you thinking that, oh, that person cheated on me. Oh, they were horrible. They're a narcissist. They're an abuser and a manipulator and all of these things. And like judge, you should give me more because I had to deal with that. And the
Right.
judge is sort of like, yep, get in
Get in
line.
line. It's true. And you're like
Mhm.
one of millions of other cases with those same exact things. It's
Mhm.
really funny that we just talked about
And so
but it's true.
that's the hard part. And I think that's why, like, on a podcast like this, like, we don't care, like, we don't care what choice you make to get divorced. You got to figure out what fits you.